Ooh, okay. I am out pruning tomatoes. Essentially, I'm in my high tunnel. My tomatoes are just, can you just see all these tomatoes in here? Like, look at how loaded they are. But the plants are so dang healthy. And we are in a zone 3. We've been basically getting frost almost every single night. And winter is coming. Fall is definitely feeling like fall. We actually have a couple more days. It is, what's today? September 12th? Yeah, September 12th. And we have this coming weekend, we have some days in the 90s. Well, almost 90s, like upper 80s, which is basically the 90s. And I thought, if I can clear out this high tunnel, well, not clear it out, trim the tops of these tomatoes before this 90-degree day, they're just gonna ripen. These days, I should say days. And then it looks like in the forecast it is all, no, 70s and 60s after that. So these are really, this is a really good time. So what I'm doing is chopping. You can see this is the pathway, but my beans are here and I am just piling all in everywhere. I did over there some on the, I did over there on the far side some. I still have a ton to do. I invited my sister over. Hopefully she gets to come with me and hack at these tomatoes. It is a little sad. I'm not going to deny that because it feels like my jungle is disappearing. I know it doesn't look like it, but if you compare this to, I'll flip the camera, to this, you can really see where I've hacked and where I haven't. And the pathway is becoming visible the more I chop it. Whereas down there, the pathway is not visible at all. And if you turn this way, you can definitely see the pathway. The pathway is also full of tomato things. I'm just gonna have a compost. Everything in here is extremely healthy. I don't have any hornworms or any blight or anything like that. What I am finding is I have some soggy leaves down. They're turning yellow on the when they're touching the ground because we are in a zone 3 and we do get frost all year. We can get frost all year round. So I didn't trellis my tomatoes. Now, the lessons I've been learning this year. This is only my second year growing in this greenhouse, and it is major learning curve to me because I can grow outside pretty good. In this high tunnel, it's just managing my tomatoes. I don't know if I'll trellis. Maybe next year I'll do a lot trellis and then some where they can just kind of be wild. But because I rammed them in here, they really need to be, I think I did about 12 to 18 inches apart for these San Marzanos. And I think I really need to bump that up to like it minimum 2 feet, but possibly 3 feet, just to give them some more breathing room. Now, it is not, I have gotten 4 ripe ones and a lot of them haven't seen the light of day. So I think they'll really ripen up. They get a lot of sun and heat. A lot of them are full size. We just have to wait for them. And some of them are blushing, but a lot of them are green. And the amount of green tomatoes I have, guys, is just out of control. Not even my San Marzanos. A lot of my heirloom tomatoes are they're just bonkers right now. So the goal is to just trim the tops to really speed up ripening of the fruit and hoping that, yeah, these tomatoes will get riper soon. And hopefully with the sunlight really hitting them, they're just really going to start to ripen. One branch, just absolutely loaded. I could leave some wild and crazy and see if it protects the frost, because obviously next week with it cooling down a lot, we're probably, and it being later in September at that point, it'll definitely be fall. We're definitely gonna get harder freezes, so I could see how that goes. So far with all of these freezes, nothing has been affected in this high tunnel, which is pretty awesome. But also, we haven't got out of the upper 20s with our frost. And once it gets into low 20s is really when things start to suffer. And in upper teens, it really, really starts to suffer. Still looks like a jungle. Well, I am not wasn't gonna film, but I'm out here in my high tunnel and I'm just picking up tomatoes that I've been harvesting, and it looks a heck of a lot different from the last time you guys saw it. We got down to, we didn't get in the teens, but we got to 23 last night. And my not everything got nipped in here, but a lot of things got nipped. I've talked to you guys about why I don't trellis my tomatoes, and I want to show you kind of why. Now I could definitely do it a little more organized, but it is what it is. This year has kind of got a little out of hand, as I've talked to you about many times, but the frost did come in and nip not all the tops of my tomatoes, a lot of the tops of my tomatoes. Definitely got the back wall a couple nights ago. Definitely got some more squash over there. All my tomatoes nipped. So I'm putting frost cover. I'm out here putting frost cover on. I'm battening down the hatches a bit. This arch is just toast. But I wanted to show you some of these tomatoes I'm getting. I've been harvesting. I came out and harvested a bunch. I still have more over here I need to go pick up. And a lot of these actually aren't ripe yet. I have been finding a lot of my ripe ones are splitting, which splitting can come from inconsistent watering. Mine get watered at the exact same time every single day, but I'm wondering if they're drying out and then they are getting watered, and so it's causing that. So, but anyway, this is one of my tomatoes. It's filthy because I don't trellis my tomatoes, but it's definitely splitting. It's definitely still good, and it's not ripe yet. Here's another guy, same sitch. Look at this beauty. So these are kind of the size of tomatoes. The heirlooms over here. Heirlooms have a tendency also to split more. I'm not exactly sure what these are because I'm just in here plucking them off and getting them in my box to get up to my house. They could be Dr. Ritchie's. I think that's the only yellow tomato that I've grown. I got a bunch of little ones, a lot of little guys. I have been trimming the tops off my tomatoes to kind of help and ripen. So this is my sad arch. I mean, most everything got nipped. There are some tomatoes that are under this frost cover that didn't. Well, I just put the frost cover on. I didn't have it on last night. I got tomatoes down here. I gotta find them. Tomatoes! There you be. This is a funny looking one, but this is an Armenian white cucumber. We've been getting so many. So here's the frost damage of the tomato. If you look underneath, healthy plant. I got some squashes over here that have a lot of thorns, and I don't like that. So this is my random box of tomatoes for tonight. I already got probably just as much this afternoon. I've been coming out and just finding the blushing ones, and then I'm letting them ripe just in case on my counters. So I'm already seeing my breath tonight. It's gonna be the coldest night yet. I think we're forecasted to be 23, and sometimes we can drop down into the, whatchamacallits, 10 degrees. We did not drop 10 degrees colder. We dropped 3 degrees colder. It's just a possibility. Obviously, things are getting nipped, and that's okay. Things that are low on the ground are not. But I'm telling you, anything that's trellised or that trellis itself, yeah, all but the big one. He doesn't want to come. Come on. So many in there. There's a bunch in here too. Ah. Come on. Oh no. Ripped out that whole plant. That's okay. One more down there, but I might leave that. See what happens. I got a bunch of squash in here as well. They seem pretty protected with the leaves. I had a comment from a local gentleman and asking me what my secret was for my squash getting pollinated in my high tunnel. I have a ton of pollinators in here. I don't spray. None of my neighbors I know of spray anything around that would kill any bugs. And I pray a lot in here, and I pray for pollinators, and I pray for these things. I don't know what to tell you. I don't hand pollinate. I don't bring in any pollinators. But I've had really good success. Also, and guys, that we've been feeding it to our pigs. I've been giving it away. I have a bunch still in my kitchen. It's just been a lot of squash. And I'm grateful for it. It's just not really, I really like winter squashes. So if I could, I need to see what I grew here. I grew it from seed. I know it's from Baker Creek, and I know I grew it from seed, and I know it was fast maturing, which is why I grew it. And obviously it was successful. Same for this one. My sister grew it too, and we both didn't like how pokey it is, but they are funky. Ah. This is kind of a young one. It's still a little green, and I've had them where they're twice as big. There's still a lot on this plant, and it looks like it's pretty protected down there, so I'm not gonna bother it. I don't know what I do. I don't know if I just haven't had an issue with that. I know a lot of people have. Our hay guy out in Silver Lake has said he's had pollination issues. Looks like it got a little frost damage. We just haven't, we're not experiencing that, guys, so. We've been getting a lot of Trombonsinos. They're just freaking huge. I just gave it, except on a rotten tomato. I just gave one to my best friend yesterday to take home with her. Saw one over here. This is where I couldn't get back here. Now I can. And it looks like I have a ton of baby squashes, but they aren't growing very good. Come on. Oh! You won't believe this. I had this naughty chicken in here, and we actually just got rid of a bunch. I had a very naughty chicken. She kept eating all my tomatoes that were getting ripe, and I was so mad at her. But look it, just found some eggs. Harvested my watermelon. I'm not sure if it was ripe. The one I've been watching all year. I just had to get it out of here because it was getting big and I didn't want it to die. So these are some Trombonsinos. I've been harvesting these all year. I mainly grew these for my chickens. I heard they're really awesome for storage. You can store them. So I'm gonna haul my box of goodies out. Also, something I don't think I've actually harvested in front of you guys is peppers. My deer got them good. These are some little guys that the plant was pretty damaged, but I also have some decent sized ones. And I've been getting quite a few peppers this year from even the deer eaten. I've gotten a lot of jalapenos and a lot of, a lot of banana peppers. I have some cayennes as well. This plant did get nipped. So we've been getting a good amount. Things I've learned from that is I'm going to start my peppers indoors on a heat mat in like January. So like first week of January, I'm going to go hog wild and start my peppers and get them going. I have some more squash over here I need to dig out. I know they're in here. And they're super cute. This is just loaded right there. I was just yakking at you for ages. I wasn't recording. I got another cucumber and no matter what the size of these, they've been so good. They don't go bad. They don't get bitter. At least I've experienced those. I think those are just the National Pickling Cucumber. Got the watermelon, cut it open. My boys loved it. I remember a few months ago I said I was growing watermelons for my boys because they keep asking for them. The first one I picked was a little underripe, wasn't the biggest hit. I thought it was so good. I ate the whole thing. I gave them some. They didn't like it. This one, they're like leery of it, and they're like, oh, it tastes like a normal watermelon. I know, it's freaking awesome. So obviously we need to grow way more. I have like about 100 watermelons that are like this big. Just not gonna make it this year, but now I know we start way earlier. We're always gonna be growing these because they're so fun and so delicious. I never thought we could grow these. an unheated greenhouse at least. It's so cold out. My fire's going. But this tastes like summer.